Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Locker Room Podcast. This is a podcast that features a new West Liberty student athlete every single week. We are once again sponsored by Permane Brothers at the Highlands, and I am your host, Kelsey Kyle. To recap this past week in Hilltopper athletics, Amelia Compston, who was our Week 4 guest, just became the second women's soccer player in program history to earn all region honors by being selected to the D2 CCA All-Atlantic Region second team. Cam Rice, who was our episode 2 guest, was selected to the second team All-Super Region 1 list, and he was also nominated as a finalist for the Harlan Hill Trophy. Volleyball player Nia Setla was named AVCA First Team All-Atlantic Region and D2 CAA Second Team All-Atlantic Region. Our volleyball team also finished their season last night in the Atlantic Regional Tournament. This past Wednesday, both our men's and women's basketball teams had wins against West Virginia Wesleyan, and our men's basketball team stays ranked number 2 in the NABC Division II coaches poll. Today's guest is women's basketball player Grace Faulk. Grace is a graduate student from Imperial, Pennsylvania, and currently in her 5th year playing at West Liberty. Last season, she ranked within the top 10 of the MEC individual leaders in 2 statistical categories, ranking 4th in both 3-point field goal percentage and 3-point field goals per game. She is also tied for 12th nationally in single-season 3-point field goals, tied for 13th in 3-point field goals per game, and ranked 28th in 3-point field goal percentage in all of the NCAA Division II. Grace has been named to the MEC All-Academic Team every year she's been at West Liberty, and she is a 2023 graduate from West Liberty and is currently working on her master's degree while using her final year of eligibility. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course. So typically we start each episode with, just going back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do that. Tell me about how you first got started with playing basketball.
Awesome. So I first started playing basketball in 2nd grade, and it was just like the in-house league within my community. So we'd play, there'd be like 4 or 5 different games going on at a time. And then when I was in 4th grade, we started to travel. So we would actually play different schools around us. And then I actually started playing AAU with that travel team, just my West Allegheny team in 4th grade. Just we were good enough that we could play in like local tournaments. So I've been playing since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah, so from there, did you go to play like for your middle school and then into high school?
Yep.
Did you play with like the same kids most of the time?
Yeah, so I played with the same girls in like throughout all of my whole high school career, but 4th and 5th grade and 6th grade we played on the same AAU team, and then when I was in 7th grade I switched and tried out for an AAU team.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
So
growing up, did you play any other sports?
Yes. I played softball until I was in high school. I actually cheered growing up until I was in 6th grade, and then I stopped, and then I went back out for the cheer team my senior year of high school. So that was awesome. And I did track throughout middle school and high school as well.
Nice. Too bad I could have recruited you to be on my team.
Yeah, I couldn't tumble or anything, but I'm a good cheerleader, so.
There you go.
I can be loud. Yeah.
Nice. So then you played basketball growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about high school.
Yeah, so like I said, I played for the same AAU team starting out in 7th grade, and I played up with them until I committed throughout my junior and senior year. And then high school, we were all right. I mean, I was close to the girls, so it was fun, but I just liked being active and going to all of the different sports teams, games, and everything. And I have a twin brother and a younger brother that both played sports. So my younger brother's only 1 grade younger, so we're very close. So we were always at different sporting events. My mom always says like her winter schedule would be the girls' basketball game, then the boys' basketball game, then a wrestling tournament, and then repeat girls and boys basketball. So definitely staying active and very busy throughout my high school experience. Yes.
Yeah, so that's cool that you have a twin brother.
Yes.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because my younger sister, Kenzie, sometimes people think we're twins.
Yeah.
Which we don't really see it, but it's always funny. Yeah. So we're like, no, we're just sisters, not actually twins.
Yeah.
But that's so cool.
Yeah, we were completely opposites too. So people would be like, "You're siblings?" I'm like, "Yep, that's my sibling."
No, that's hilarious. So in high school basketball, you're playing for your school, playing AAU. When did you really start to think like, okay, I could continue my basketball career in college?
Yeah. So that was kind of always the goal, I think, just even going back to 7th grade when I first started playing for that team. It's pretty serious. I mean, we were traveling a lot, committing a lot of time to it. So that was always the goal, but I think it became more of like a vision, like, okay, I can actually do this when I got into high school and definitely like throughout my sophomore year. Um, I really enjoyed AAU. I was close with a lot of girls, and since I had been playing with them since 7th grade, I mean, our team switched around a little bit every year, but I was pretty close with them, so I looked forward to playing with them every year and going on the trips and stuff. But once I got into high school throughout my like freshman, sophomore year, I definitely started thinking about it like, okay, this is what I'm for sure going to do. Like that was always the goal, but it became more of a reality once I got into high school.
Yeah. So what did your recruitment process look like? Like, when did you first start looking at schools, and when did you first find out about West Liberty?
So I first found out about West Liberty. I was at an AAU practice. Coach Cooper was actually we would practice with the older team, and Coach Cooper was recruiting one of the older girls. So he came to the practice, and I just happened to be there, and that's when he first saw me. And I believe that was in like I might have been in 10th, a freshman or in 10th grade, I forget. But yeah, so that was when he first saw me. And then my recruiting story is always it's funny because I'm like, oh, when we talk about other recruits that they're recruiting now, they're like, I'm like, why didn't they commit? Yeah, no, or you're one to talk. I came on like 5 or 6 visits here in an overnight before I
Wow.
committed. Yeah, so um, they offered me my junior year, and I didn't commit till almost like after a year later, my senior year. I just wanted to be really sure about it.
Yeah.
So, and I knew the recruiting process was something I didn't want to do again, because it was very stressful, and there's so many different things to consider that it took me a while, but
Hmm.
I wanted to be sure in my decision before I made it.
No, I
So,
mean, honestly, for like high school juniors and
mhm,
seniors, that's one of the biggest
yeah.
decisions that you
Or
have to
make
make.
it up to
Yeah,
that point in time, yeah, like, it's the biggest decision you're probably making in your life at that point. So,
exactly.
there's definitely a lot of things that go into it, but
So if you had like 5 or 6
mhm,
visits here before you
yeah,
decided, what do you think some of those like things that you saw or the people that you talked to, like what helped
mhm.
you to come to your final decision to come here?
So, I was only looking at, like, 1 or 2 other schools seriously. It was just that I wanted to make sure this West Lib checked all the boxes for me. So, I wanted to have, like, a collective campus, and, like, a good campus atmosphere, that there's always gonna be people around, like, doing things, events, activities going on. I didn't wanna be too far away from home when this is perfect. It's only an hour away from me. Academics, I've always wanted to be a teacher, like, ever since I was in elementary school, I would play teacher.
Aw.
So, wanted to make sure they would have that. And really just that it was gonna be a good fit for me academically and athletically, in combination. And Westlib just checked all the boxes at the end of the day, so knew it was the right choice, and
Yeah.
it's worked out because here I am 5 years later,
Yep,
so
exactly. So getting in just to the college in
Mhm,
general, your whole experience here. So you picked West Lib, it worked out.
mhm,
You get here, what was it like transitioning from high school and then into college?
mhm. It was definitely a big transition, just the speed of the basketball and the pace. Um, I feel like it took me a whole year just to kinda get that down, because it is a big commitment, and with your time management, you're doing so many things on your own for the first time. So, it was definitely a transition, I mean, and then my freshman year ended in COVID, so that was just a whole another switch, and not coming back my sophomore year, like, we didn't even play the whole first semester, so you're just practicing. But yeah, it's really just it's like learning a new language, I swear. It's a lot, but it works out. You get used to it, and your teammates help you and support you and your coaches. So it was definitely a big transition, but you make the best of it.
Yeah. It's so crazy now too because like your first year here
Mhm.
whenever you were a freshman, that was my first
Yeah.
year working here.
Mhm.
So I feel like it's kind of hitting me now that like the athletes that I've seen
Mhm.
around campus, seen
Yeah.
playing, like you guys are almost all gone now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. Like I'm still here in the same position,
Mhm.
but the people that have been here the whole time are
Yeah,
graduating
you're
and
having like
moving
the
on.
full circle
Yeah,
moments.
it's so
Yes.
crazy because I remember just like my first year here, like coming to basketball games, watching you play, and
Mhm.
now it's your last season. It's so wild.
Yeah, it is crazy.
Um, so I feel like just in general, women's basketball here, it's just a really good family atmosphere. You can tell that your coaches and your teammates, you guys just love each other so much. So just talk a little bit about that, about playing on the team, going through and being able to look back at your first few years here and just everything about the team atmosphere and what it's been like to be a part of the team.
Yeah, the team is great. I mean, that's one of Coach Cooper's things, and Coach Seth, we're a family, so that's one of our standards that we hold ourselves to. But I always tell people that West Lib is special because the people there. That's what makes it special, is the family atmosphere and the people that you're with and the friends that you make throughout the time. And I've definitely got to experience that with great teammates throughout my years here. The funny thing is, so my last name is Faulk, obviously, and my freshman year there was another Grace on the team. And Coach Seth is our nicknamer, so she comes up with all the nicknames, and they started calling me Faulk or Faulky, and that has stuck throughout my time here, but it took a while for me to get used to that my freshman year because I had never been called by my last name ever, so they would say my name 3 or 4 times before I'd even register. They were talking about me, but yeah, my teammates are great, and it's, like you said, it's crazy because I've been here 5 years, so I've been on the different teams with a different, like, atmosphere and vibe and journey. It's a different journey every year with different teammates, and just to get to the best part about college is those experiences and those memories that you make with your team. So definitely just not taking any of them for granted and capitalizing on them. But yeah, it's very special.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So then you graduated technically last year, and then because of everything with COVID, you were able to come back for your 5th year, which that's super special too, that like you didn't redshirt at any point any of those years, right? Yeah, so you've actually got to play for 5 years.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about what your mindset was like this summer and then this fall getting ready to play your last season.
Yeah, so Corinne Thomas and I came in together as freshmen. We were the only two, and that's a small recruiting class in general, just 2 of us.
Yeah.
So it's so nice that we've got to experience our career together this whole time and kind of like go out together as well. But yeah, when it came to taking my 5th year, I was like, I just owe it to the team and myself to take the opportunity. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's definitely, it's fun. I think I approached it the same as every year, really. It's just you work out in the summer. We have workouts we do, just play as much as you can. And then kind of coming in this year with just a little bit of a different mentality, like this is the last time I'm going to get to do this. So I don't know if it's not caring as much, but just kind of going out there playing as hard as you can and just making some fun things happen. So.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your like fall and your preseason because you actually dealt with an injury this year. So just talk a little bit about like what happened and then what your mindset was like to get through that so you can get back out and get playing as soon as possible.
Yeah, so I broke my 5th metatarsal in my foot the 2nd day on campus. So I didn't even make it to the first practice, and this is my first injury ever. Like I've never rolled an ankle or like
Wow.
before I told people I had mono. Like that was the first time I had to miss a game in college a couple years ago. So dealing with injuries not fun, I've learned. I did elect to have surgery because I would get back faster. So I had the surgery, was home for like a week, came back. I've just been doing physical therapy and everything like that. It was not fun. I had to go around on a scooter.
Yeah.
West Liberty's not the best for accessibility issues. But yeah, it's really just that gave me a different lens and like gave me a different perspective watching practice. And kind of just trying to be there for my teammates the best way I could throughout that time. And like I said, like I am a big cheerleader at heart, so it's not the hardest thing for me to do, even though it is frustrating. The most frustrating part now is like getting back to feeling like myself because I want to make the most of this year and take it as a big opportunity. So it's kind of frustrating now, and I'm getting overwhelmed. I don't want to be too hard on myself, like coming back when I want to be somewhere that I'm not yet. That's the most difficult thing that I've dealt with right now because I mean I was out in preseason, so I felt kind of guilty because I was like I'm not there for my teammates going through everything that they are. But now it's just getting my confidence back and getting back to who I know I can be on the court for them and for my coaches and everything.
Yeah. So you've been able to play in A couple games so
Yes.
far. Okay.
Yes.
So
Making our way.
what was that like your first game back
Mhm.
after having to go through all of, like you said, like your rehab,
Mhm.
cheering on your team, sitting on the bench, and then finally getting to like put your uniform back on? What was that
Yeah.
like?
It felt really nice. I mean, I only played 4 minutes in the first game, so it's really just getting that adrenaline, like getting the nerves out, and just feeling more confident every time I step on the court and focusing on the small things that I can do to like add to the game. I'm not trying to worry about scoring or anything, just do the little things and I'll work
And the
my way
rest will
back.
come. Yeah,
Yes, I'm hoping.
absolutely.
Yes.
Um, so what do you think, just looking at this season, the team has been off to a really, really good start so far, but it's still so early on. We're
Mhm.
just now getting into, December, honestly.
Yes.
So what are the goals that your team has, and what's like been those driving um just ideas and the things that you guys really want to accomplish to get from now to
Mhm.
March?
Yes, because it is, like you said, a long season. I'm actually looking forward to winter break because when no one's here, it's one of our favorite times of the year, actually. Just getting to play basketball and hang out with your teammates. I think it's a good experience for us to get closer and like take the next jump. So that's really what we're focused on this week is just taking the next jump, like taking the opportunity, the game in front of you, and getting better. And like I said, every year is a different journey with a different team. So we're kind of just trying to figure that out, like who are we gonna be? Like how are we going to play for each other too? I know we've talked a lot about that with our coaches and teammates. Like, what is something that you're good at that you can bring to the table to contribute to the game? So definitely just building on our successes every week, and hopefully, our goal is to make it to the NCAA tournament. So I've never got to do that here, so that is what we're really focused on. Is our overarching goal for the season.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a better way to,
Mhm. Yeah.
end your basketball careers
Yeah.
by getting to do that and
Mhm.
getting to make it that far. So you really think like the team, especially like once you said finals are over and it's
Mhm.
just you guys here, is that like a where you almost like bond even more?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. We like when people start coming back, we're like, this is gross. So we definitely like it just us up here, getting to hang out. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys will stay after finals are
mhm.
over, you'll have a couple more games still. So how much time will you actually get to like go home for the holidays?
We get I think 8 days to go home.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So
it's
like
not
Christmas to New Year's
yes,
ish.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. We actually have a big break in between our games because we play December 18th and we don't play again until January 10th. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
almost a month.
Mhm.
But I feel like that definitely gives like a lot of time to work out,
Mhm.
to kind of like really get into your groove with
Yes.
everything. And I feel like that'll be great for you too.
Mhm.
So you can really get just a lot of good like practice
Just need the
in.
reps. Yeah.
Yeah, to just
Yeah.
get that confidence ready to go to get back out on the
Mhm.
floor as soon as games start back.
Yes, for sure.
Um, is there anything else that you were thinking, just like looking at this season? Like we said, it's a long season, a
Mhm.
lot we got to do, but do you have like any other thoughts with anything upcoming this season?
I always look forward to the conference tournament, especially having it in Wheeling at West Banco. That's always fun because, like, the community here is great and they support women's basketball and men's basketball so well that having that conference tournament at West Banco is really just, it's like you're playing a home game.
Yeah.
So I always look forward to that and just the atmosphere that comes along with that. It's always fun. And especially getting, like my last year getting to do it, I'm definitely going to appreciate that more.
Yeah,
So.
it's so much fun. I
Mhm.
love going to the conference tournament. Whenever I was in college, it was still in Charleston,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad it's here. It's just so
I'm so
easy to just
lucky.
drive down.
Yeah, I've had it here my whole career, so
Yeah,
it's very awesome.
no, I do love that. Um, is there anything else with basketball before we talk a little bit about school?
Um, I don't think so. It's just I do love it here, and this is why I'm still here 5 years later, just because I do have the support of my coaches and teammates that make it all worth it. Because it is a struggle sometimes. It's college being a student athlete is not always fun. So definitely just make the most of it in the time you do have, and lean on the others that like are around you to support you. It's definitely what I would say is the most important thing. That's not always easy to do, but it's definitely important.
Yeah, and it's so true too that just now it's easier than ever to
Mhm.
transfer or to like
Mhm.
go see what else is out there. So I think it's so special whenever we get to talk to people like you and people watching the podcast can
Mhm.
see like that it is so special here, and there are so many reasons why athletes come in as a freshman and
Yeah.
then we're sitting here 5 years later. I think
Mhm.
that can just kind of show everyone just a little bit more about West Lib in
Yeah,
general
for
too.
sure.
But okay, let's talk a little bit about school. So you said in the beginning that you always wanted to be a
Mhm.
teacher. You graduated with your undergrad degree in elementary education. So just talk a little bit about what it was like being a student athlete, studying in the education field. Maybe talk a little bit about what it was like student teaching
Mhm.
while playing basketball, because that's basically like having a full-time job and then coming back
Yes.
here for practice. So what was all of that like?
Yes. It was definitely challenging with COVID because I wasn't able to get in the classroom as early as I
Yeah.
wanted. So I feel like when I did start student teaching, I didn't have all the other experiences that people in the past might have, which kind of made it challenging. Like I don't have any younger siblings, I don't have that big of a family, so I didn't really have the experiences with little kids as much that I was hoping for before I went into the classroom. But my student teaching experience was great. It's definitely like working a full-time job, like you said, and it's very demanding. But I was at West Liberty Elementary, which is right down the road, and that was such a blessing because I was able to just come right there, from there to here for practice and everything. But it's definitely stressful. It's definitely something I'm like a new challenge that I haven't experienced before. It's really, you just have to be good with your time management and kind of compartmentalizing. Like that's what I'm gonna do for the first part of the day. Move on. The second part of my day is gonna be basketball. Just because you'll be so exhausted that you don't even
I
know.
bet.
Yeah, you just don't feel like you're going through the motions sometimes. So it's really just giving that extra focus to where you are and what you're doing, and then moving on with your day.
What
But
grade did you student teach in?
I was with fifth grade.
Aw,
Yes, I loved fifth grade.
that's
Um,
awesome. So that's the oldest kids at Westwood
mhm.
Elementary, right?
Yes.
Okay, fun.
Yes.
Um, so then you graduated and then you decided to come back and start your master's. So
Mhm.
what are you getting your master's in?
I'm getting my master's as a reading specialist.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
So then when are you graduating?
I am planning on graduating in May.
Okay, so you're getting
Yes.
it all done in a
Yes,
year.
I condensed it to a year, which it's a lot, and they're like, people don't usually do this. I'm like, well, I got a year, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to make it happen. But it's good. It's a lot, but it's good.
Yeah, good. I did the same thing. I was like,
Mhm.
if I'm getting my master's,
Yeah.
I'm not stretching it out. We're gonna do
No.
this in a year and get it over with.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in the long run, definitely worth it.
Mhm.
Um, so what are your plans after this spring?
So I do actually really enjoy the reading intervention. If I couldn't, I like the upper elementary as well. So I'm gonna try to get a teaching job either in third, fourth, and fifth grade, or reading intervention, and really offering that support to the students who need it.
Nice. Do you want to go like closer to home or just kind of open to go wherever you get a job?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm thinking about transferring my certification to Ohio and finding a job near Columbus. So
Okay,
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
That's so exciting. All right, was there anything else with school before we get into some rapid fire questions?
I don't think so.
All right. So, this is one of my favorite parts of the podcast because I feel like this is when people really get to just know a little bit more about you than
Mhm.
school and basketball. And since it's now full Christmas and holiday season,
Mhm.
we're going to do some Christmas themed rapid fire
Okay.
questions. So, the first couple, you have to pick which movie.
Okay.
So, between these Christmas movies, would you rather watch Elf or The Polar Express?
Elf.
Would you rather watch Christmas Vacation or The Grinch?
The Grinch.
All right, would you rather build a gingerbread house or decorate Christmas cookies?
Decorate cookies.
Do you have a favorite like Christmas tradition that you and your family does?
Every year on New Year's Eve we watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Aw,
Yes.
that's so cute. Um, what's like your go-to holiday Starbucks order?
Um, let's see. Probably just what's the cookie one?
Oh, the sugar cookie.
Sugar cookie.
Mine
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Love that one. Last one. Do you have a favorite Christmas song?
I really don't. I honestly don't listen to Christmas music unless it's like on New Year's Eve or Christmas. I'll put on a playlist just from like Spotify or Apple Music that's already made.
Yeah.
But I'm sticking to my regular music.
That's how my team feels, and then I turn on Christmas music at practice and they don't like
Yeah.
it. All right, well, to close out, we always end every episode with the same exact question. So it's if you could go back in time to your freshman move-in day, what is something that you would tell your past self based off of what you know now?
So I think I would tell myself that it's going to be a journey and you're going to learn a lot about yourself, but you're also going to learn how to take care of yourself for the first time on your own. And just kind of don't be too hard on yourself, that you have to trust the process. It's all going to work out. Like you're where you're meant to be, and just kind of take care of yourself along the way and make that a priority.
Yeah, that's so good. All right. Well, thank you so much for being
Yeah.
a guest on the podcast today. I'm excited for everyone to get to listen and learn more about you.
Thank you so much.
Of course. All right. Well, our winter sports teams are back in action this week. Both our men's and women's track teams are kicking off their indoor season today at the Youngstown State Icebreaker Invite. Our wrestling team is traveling to Fort Wayne, Indiana tomorrow for the Little State Invite, and then again on Sunday at the Dragon Duels at Drexel University. And of course, you can catch Grace and the rest of both the men's and women's basketball teams on the road tomorrow at Davidson-Elkins College, and then back home on Wednesday against the University of Charleston. As always, make sure that you follow WLU Athletics on all social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Check out the Locker Room Podcast on Instagram and subscribe to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts because you don't want to miss any of our exciting guests and updates. All right, thank you all so much for listening again today, and make sure that you join us again next Friday when I'm back to talk with former MEC Cross Country Runner of the Year and multiple-time All-MEC runner, Hannah Kemp.